The RH Microtome has a robust design that has been created specifically for the conservation lab. It has a unique circular knife manufactured from very fine grain, high carbon steel, enabling it to be sharpened to an extremely keen edge. This circular knife has approximately 3 times a cutting edge on it as a standard straight microtome knife. It is also easier and therefore cheaper to sharpen, something done by RH Conservation Engineering. The knife is supplied in a sturdy steel storage postage tin. The acrylic knife cover has a small hinged section at the back of the microtome, furthest from the operator, where the sectioning takes place. The RH Microtome is clamped onto the bench with its built-in clamp. Among its many unique features is a swinging arm to carry the sample on the stage under the knife for sectioning. Installing the knife on the microtome is easy. It is supplied in this tin. The centre screw is removed from the tin . Holding in both hands with the finger on both hands, gripping against the knife, the tin is inverted onto the centre stub of the knife assembly. When it is, the knife is lowered with the 2 fingers, now on the underside of the knife. Tin is now removed and the acrylic cover and top assembly boss installed and secured with the screw. The screw of the knife assembly is installed and loosely tightened. The acrylic cover must be rotated so that the hinged section corresponds with the area where the sample is to be cut, where the stage vise swings under the knife, and when it is positioned so, tighten the centre screw. When sectioning tiny samples that cannot be held in the vise, a wood block approximately 10 mm cubed is clamped into the vise. On the centre of this, a droplet of molten RH mounting medium is positioned with an RH heated spatula. When the droplet chills a little, a small molten well is created in its centre, and into this the sample is immersed in the desired orientation. This then needs to be left to chill around 5 minutes. After this, sectioning may be done in the manner demonstrated next. If the sample is too friable to produce a section, once you have sectioned down to the area you wish to make a thin layer section, a coat of B72 acrylic resin dissolved in a solvent, like acetone, can be applied to the section sample surface as a consolidating layer. This will of course need to dry sufficiently before taking the next section. Now going to section a sample of wood, something I do regularly in my practice. When the sample is large and stable enough to be held in the stage vise. The stage vise can be rotated to orientate the sample for sectioning. The position of the knife in the microtome can also be adjusted to vary the cutting action from a long sweeping cut to a direct chopping action. The acrylic cover is raised and we are ready to start sectioning. When the handle is pointing directly toward you, the stage is in its unlocked mode and the micro advance may be adjusted. When the handle is taken around 90 degrees, an internal locking mechanism locks the stage in position ready for sectioning. The operation of the micro advance is done by gripping both lower advance knob and the upper spring-loaded advanced dial ring. This ring has a small black mark on it that is read off against the scale. The scale is calibrated in micron. With fingers and thumb gripping the knob and the ring together, they are rotated, in this case to the 20 micron mark. The stage has now been raised 20 micron. The stage is now drawn around, passing through the locking mechanism and to take our first section. This process is repeated several times to get down to the area in the sample we want to take the section. As the area in the sample that we want to look at is approached, the advance is reduced, firstly in this case to 15 micron, taking finer and finer sections as we go, to the spot we want to examine. The sections can be put on slides and examined to determine your progress. All samples cut in different ways, so one needs to examine the sections to know how successful you are. The thinnest section I have been able to achieve with this microtome is 8 micron on a wood sample. Preparation of samples for reflective light microscopy. The microscope may either be brought to the sample in the microtome if you have a microscope on a portable arm. Alternatively, the sample can be removed from the vise and taken to the microscope. I find it very beneficial to be able to study the sample while it's in the microtome to aid me getting the best sections I can. When you are saving a section, the slide can be placed on top of the microtome with the aid of a fine sable brush, in this case moistened with ethanol. I'm stopping the section from curling up into a shaving. Rather, I'm keeping it flat against the knife, lubricated with the ethanol. Then it is collected and placed on the slide. I, for this purpose, use a second slide rather than a cover slip to hold the sample flat in a glass sandwich. The first section is now ready to be examined under the microscope.